Hey, 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 hey. Lots of waving. Welcome to the Green Umbrella live lunch. Just the two of us today. Kim, unfortunately, she was due to be on as well, but she's had that call from the school and she's had to go and pick up a little boy. So we're crossing our fingers he's okay, and not feeling too under the weather. We planned, Kim and I, where we were going to do live lunch. Then I was going to drive into town. We were going to meet for coffee and hammer through a few tasks. So I thought she probably thought she'd finally pinned me down to get some of this crap out the way that she's been nagging me for. And now she's got to look after her little boy. So I imagine she's quite cross. Now, I could get this stuff done anyway, but there's a reason why I need pinning down to do it. It's not the most exciting stuff that I need to do. Although I have done one of the things already today.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's good.
There you go. If she because Kim always watches this back to write up the notes. So Kim, mwah, I have done something today you'll be proud of. Sometimes I forget who's supposed to be in charge.
Chrissy, that sounds about you. But yeah, I know it's good that you've got Kim to, keep her on the
crack the whip.
Yeah, keep you on the path, keep you in your lane, and this is what you need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I read a study, randomly. This is really random. I read a study. If you tell yourself, I'm going to do something for 2 minutes and then I can have a break, you then just automatically get in the swing of doing stuff. It just motivates you to carry on because you've done 2 minutes solid of doing something. So say if you're sending an email, if you've done it for 2 minutes, then you're thinking, well, I've got halfway through, I might as well, finish it, get on to the next thing now. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
So there's loads of stuff, loads of studies out there about how to get into flow state. So when you're in a flow state, you just find you can get so much done. So there's I have a specific playlist. In fact, I have 2 playlists. So one is just tunes I love that just get me in the zone. But on the days when even that doesn't work, I have another playlist that has okay. So our brains work on, obviously there's energy within us, right? And our brains work in different states. So there's an alpha state, beta state, theta, there's all these at different states. Your body naturally is it's easier for your body to do things in certain states. So it's when we go to sleep at night, our body drops through these states until we get into the right state to be able to sleep. And in the morning, it comes up again. So anyway, I have a playlist that has, it's binaural beats. So it's music that essentially is set at the right frequency that puts you in the optimal state to be in flow to get the work done you need to do.
That's really interesting. You're gonna have to share that with me because I feel like I can't, if I'm trying to focus, I can't listen to songs that I enjoy because I'll just sing and then get distracted by singing and be like, I'm trying to read something or reply to something, but I'm just there well, here's a little song for you, Christina, because it's just the two of us, right? That kind of stuff. No sleep. Anyway,
but this is the thing. So that playlist with the tunes I love, if I'm doing something creative, having that on works really, really well. If it's something I don't really want to do, it's something a bit boring and technical and that kind of stuff, then that's when I really need my binaural beat stuff because that helps keep me in the right state. There's also there's other exercises you can do as well. So these are more physical things that you can do where, let's say you're working on something, you're just coming up against a brick wall. There's something called the alpha game that you can do, and we've done it in the office before. Do you remember with the letters of the alphabet? And it's under A there's an L, and it's you have to lift your left arm, and an R your right arm, and a T together.
Right. Yeah.
Go through the alphabet, and then you come. So that what it does with the patterns in your yeah, basically it just helps get rid of all the noise because you're hyper focused on this, gets rid of the noise. So once you've done that, you're now in a state to where like you're cleared, you're in a state to focus.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've seen one and I don't remember doing that in the office actually thinking about it, but there
Oh,
is
maybe
one.
it's streamlining.
Yeah, that was there was I've seen one thing that if your energy is low and you're quite tired, instead of sort of resorting to, I guess, caffeine and things like that, the first thing to try is just actually moving your body. So
Yeah,
like
just
just
walking.
yeah, but also there's this exercise I saw and I've actually tried it. It does work. Like, and I tested it on my sister as well because she was like, really can't bother to go to the gym. And I was like, come on, excite me to go to the gym. And I was like, okay. So we were just doing this exercise in her room of just going like almost jumping jacks, but going all the way to the floor. But it really got, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling like so much better. And I was like, see, just a tiny bit of movement.
It's all about state management. So there are there's three things that help you. Like if you're not feeling it, or something's getting you down, or you're going through something and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
If you think about like what is it you're focusing on, what's the language you're using, but also changing your physiology, which is where the movement comes in. So
Yeah.
those three things, it's like if you go right, focus, language, physiology, and you shift all of that. So it's like I really don't want to go to the gym, and I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I don't feel like working out. I know when I get there, I'll feel amazing. Yeah, and it is just those shifts in the language, the self-talk, that kind of stuff. So that, yeah, focus, language, physiology works every time.
Yeah.
Works every time. I'll quite often, like, I'll just like write it, especially with the blogs. If I get stuck, I think I'll do, or we're working on a branding thing and I need to come up with a clever name for something, or creative stuff like that, and I'm just stuck. I'll just start pacing up and down here,
I love
or
a pace.
like or like a day like today. We were just saying before we went live, it's a really beautiful autumnal day here. It's like, although it's like really cold, the sun is out, and it's like my view's beautiful. So I'll like make my cup of tea, and I'll go and stand out and look at the view, and I'll just make sure that my physiology is strong and tall and confident, and then come like and just breathe it in for a second, clear my mind, come in, come back to it, look at it again, and more often than not, just that is enough to get you thinking of it differently. So yeah.
No, definitely. Gonna have to share that playlist with Christina, because I'll be interested to try that.
I will do. I will do. I've got another one for when I'm struggling to sleep, so maybe I'll give you that one first.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Mine's yeah, like I listen to jazz beats. It's so random because I feel like a lot of people are like, wow, jazz is so noisy, but smooth jazz is my concentration music. Love
Yeah,
it.
no, I get that. I get that.
Can't
Very,
sing to it, don't have a clue what's going on. It just puts you in the right frame of mind.
very
And
cool.
also, just speaking of the sleeping thing on your iPhone, I noticed this, but you can have you can add surround sound music to like raindrops or the ocean to your phone. Like I've actually got it on here, the ear there. You can
Okay.
just you put it like you sort it out in your settings, but it helps you relax and sleep. So they actually
Is
have
that since the update?
no, that was before because I need to update my phone still. Actually, I might have done it the other day, but that was before the update for sure.
There we go. You can take me through that offline. I think I need to
Yeah,
use
yeah,
that.
yeah. Stop rambling.
Anyway, right, let's get into it, right? Because we're here to talk about social media news. Although I think this conversation has been really useful, actually. Yeah, social media news. I mean, I've got a few things actually, but they're all sort of feel like they're all quite quick fire. So let's do yours first.
Okay, well, the first one is a TikTok one, or actually, I'll start with the Facebook one because mine are quite quick fire as well. But Facebook is removing Hobbies from the user profile section. I remember back in the day, Christina filling out that whole list of stuff, and I think there must be about 1,000 hobbies from 2011 that are in mine that I just haven't changed since, and I can't even remember what they would be.
See, yeah, people don't go back and look at their Facebook profiles, do they?
honestly, like, and I know quite a few people a lot of people have actually like just deactivated their Facebook accounts because they just don't use them. So it's like recently I feel like I've been having that conversation a lot with people where they would rather put time into actually platforms they enjoy rather than just sort of keeping up to date with all of them, because Facebook for me is definitely the app that I just don't it's the least like the least out of all of the platforms that I actually spend most of my time.
Okay, so this is interesting because it links in with one of the things I was going to talk about. So there's been there's been a couple of studies done, okay, and it's like social media and human needs. Which social media serves needs the best? Okay, so Facebook came out as like Facebook's like the top platform when it comes to serving the need of being connected. So when we think about connection, we're thinking about being when we think about human needs, connections normally like love and connection. So
Yeah.
being connected to your family, to your friends, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
LinkedIn came out with in terms of sort of, career recognition. So think about that as sort of a need for significance. LinkedIn sort of scored higher there, which obviously makes sense from a
Makes
professional
sense. Yeah.
TikTok also, though, TikTok and Instagram both kind of went towards that recognition, significance kind of thing too, which I thought was quite interesting. When it comes to the feeling of belonging, that was more of a WhatsApp thing. YouTube, YouTube was more towards, your hunger for exploration, hunger for growth. YouTube went that way.
Interesting.
When it came to joy, like Snapchat was way up there.
Wow.
Really, really interesting. When it actually came to joy, like feeling good about stuff, using the platform, feeling happy, joy,
Wow.
that was up there. So I thought it was really interesting.
That really is interesting. I feel all of them make sense. Snapchat for me, I guess. I could happily like get rid of my Snapchat, I think. Like I don't use it. Like there is about yeah, and it's like the thing is all this sounds awful, but there is only a fair few people, I could probably count 3 people that I actually know on my Snapchat, whereas like everybody else, I'm like, I think I met them on like when Snapchat was just a big deal. I met them on holiday and we just added each other on Snapchat. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, or I don't know, but it's yeah. And then when their stories pop up, I'm like, who is this? Who actually is this? So I'm like, there's no point. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
Snapchat, I
crazy.
don't get a lot of joy from.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get to the source of the data to find out, because I've literally it's in the last couple of days and I haven't had a chance to dig in properly yet. But I want to get to the source of the data to see like how big the sample was and what the demographics of the sample were as well. I mean, the fact that it's Snapchat, it's going to be a younger demographic anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, but like I said, it's still really interesting. Really, really interesting. Oh, Gary's just said, am I live on LinkedIn? Gary, I should be live on LinkedIn.
Shall I check on my phone?
Yeah, have a little nosy. We should be live over on LinkedIn as well as here and on YouTube too.
Oh yeah, we are.
We are, it's there, cool. Yeah, it should be live on my LinkedIn profile, Christina Robinson. But you're here on Facebook anyway, so that's cool. Thanks for coming and checking in. Appreciate that. Paul's put in the comments as well. He says he gets his joy here.
Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you, Paul. Cool. Okay, so yeah, so if you want joy from your social media platforms, go to Snapchat.
Yeah, we need to have a look at those demographics.
But like I said, in terms of the sort of the significance element of it, I'm not surprised LinkedIn was further. Like if you imagine on this graph, because the graph is like it's like in quadrants and you've got bits all over the place. So you'd kind of like in the lower, you've got connection down here. and you've got significance at the top, basically. And it
Yeah.
is almost like Facebook is here next to connection. And then as you go up, so you've got connection, growth, essentially, exploration, significance. So it's like Facebook is here, YouTube is here, LinkedIn is here.
Yeah.
And there's another couple of apps around it, but it's like I said, when you look at it as essentially as a map of what's popping up where in terms of serving those human needs, it's really, really interesting, especially when you think about the psychology of marketing. So, someone on LinkedIn, what is it they want? Like what need are they serving by being active on that platform? Well, that's if we can give them that significance through engaging with them, that's a tick in the box. That's going to help draw them to us further. Over on Facebook, if people are looking for more connection, if we make sure the content we create is priming them for connection, giving them the opportunity to connect with us, then again, we're going to be drawing them in better. So it's, really, really interesting.
And I think it all do make sense. As you said, the psychology of it, like Facebook just absolutely is down to a T. I share sort of my Instagram posts onto Facebook to look active. So like my family, like my aunties and like my cousins, and yeah, even my mum can just like see that I'm doing all right if they haven't heard from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing that. And I guess when I do that, that's when I sort of go on my little, I'll have like give my time to Facebook. But then, yeah, as I said, like I would say, mine, it's got to be Instagram for me. But I feel what was Instagram's again? It was recognition, was it, or something?
Yeah, it was kind of on the line. So almost like halfway between connection and significance.
That makes so much sense as well, though, because I feel like you have your friends on Instagram and then TikTok. I feel like they are great platforms for even building a brand. Like,
so
especially
again, TikTok was more towards significance and exploration, but not as much as YouTube was.
yeah, TikTok, yeah, because I feel like I've even read articles like and actually posted it on one of my clients' pages from HR magazine, but it was about how TikTok is becoming a work talk. So it's like it's becoming almost like a HR platform for a lot of businesses. Where
Absolutely. Employee engagement, employer branding.
yeah,
Gary's just asked, do we think that each channel is generational? Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have this kind of model that we've seen again and again and again, where something new comes out, and the younger demographic jump on it first because they want to escape us old farts, basically. They want to go and like get down and dirty without worrying that mum's going to see it or Auntie Jean. So like they skip over to the new platform, and what happens is the marketers and the content creators looking to monetize go, oh, something shiny over there. We need to be an early adopter. It might not be here in 6 months, but if we don't jump now, we're going to be behind the curve. So you now have this younger demographic, these seasoned content creators, and the marketers on that platform trying to build that audience, figure out the best ways. And quite often there's no algorithm at this point as well on this new platform. What happens is it kind of takes hold, and mum and Auntie Jean go, oh, little Doris is over there now. We need to go and have a nosy over there. And they're not as fast as adopting it. They're kind of, because they're stuck in the old ways of the older platforms. It takes a little bit longer to work out. But as this happens, that audience grows. That becomes the new sexy thing until the new platform comes along again, and we see ourselves go through this process again. I think the only time I've really seen that be different is when Threads dropped, because obviously, like, all these people on Instagram was a captive audience that could just be shot straight into Threads. So we saw this big jump of basically all these Instagram users going over there. And to be honest, what's really happened is, I think because everyone went over at once, that younger generation didn't stick around on there. And I also feel that because it was another thing for people to think about. So most of us are using on a daily like actively using on a daily basis. I think it's like something like 2.8 social media platforms. So let's call it 3 platforms.
Yeah.
So when we suddenly throw in a 4th one, there's not enough time and something needs to go. So the one that goes is the one that you haven't got the time to invest in, you haven't got the traction on, you don't quite get. And so I think that's why we saw this, like, everyone jumped onto Threads and then we've seen this decline. So it's, yeah, in answer to your question, Gary, absolutely, I do think the channels are generational. But I also think there are behavioural differences in them as well. People on LinkedIn, they're in a business mindset. People on Facebook, they're in a mindset that is completely different. They're not going to make business buying decisions while sat in their Facebook feed. You know, on a cold day, they might buy a heated blanket though. Whereas on LinkedIn, they ain't going to do that. So it, like I said, we've got there's the generational thing, but there's also a behavioural thing too. So yeah,
I completely agree. Yeah, I think you summed that up very well.
Yeah,
very well.
So just thinking about that. So we think about younger generations, younger demographics as having. Well, we started this off talking about focus, right? So
Yeah.
we think about the younger demographics having shorter attention spans, but we've just talked about the fact that, like, we all have shorter attention spans and we need to do things to help build that to maintain our focus. Have you seen the stuff around TikTok and how people are spending their time on there?
No. Oh, well, I have.
Do you know what? You're brilliant. So before we went live, I was like, Nicole, what have you got to share today? And she's like, oh, I've got the thing about TikTok and this. And I was like, okay, great. And I thought the conversation we're just having is a brilliant segue. So I thought I'll bring it in and I'll tee her up and she can just, like, go and shoot and, like, that it'll go from, like, it'll be amazing. And she's like, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, and then you went, really?
Drop.
You were like, Nicole, come on. Really? Wait, let's just, like, everyone just forget that happened. Yes, Christina, I have heard about this.
So go on, tell us more.
Throwing me under the bus now. Okay, so what I do know, and I'm hoping that Christina will help me expand on this, but TikTok says users spend half their time in the app watching minute plus longer clips. So actually, I mentioned this a few weeks ago with you and Kim, and I remember it was a news story about how, or it might have been the week before, I'm not sure, but how they're going to start introducing 15-minute clips. Was it 15?
15, yeah.
So from the 10 to 15, and we were all having this kind of debate on, would we watch 10, 15-minute plus clips? Kim was a straight no. I was like, it depends on the context. And Christine, I feel like you said, I actually do find it interesting watching the longer clips, because you just get into it. You naturally do. That's the thing. Like, once you're in something, you're like, oh, well, I've committed 3 minutes now. I might as well continue to the 10.
If it's engaging, it's engaging. Yeah. It's going to hold you. It's going to hold your attention. This is the trick. This is the trick. If we, like, you know, we piss about all the time on here. You know, we're laughing, we don't take things too seriously. So I like to think there's an element of entertainment on it. If we were, like, just really, like, grey and solid, you know, and, like, just and monotone, and people would just switch off after 5 minutes. So, I mean, they might switch off after 5 minutes anyway. I was like, whatever. But, you know, but if there's something there, if there's a bit of engagement, the rest of it. I watched 2 podcasts back to back last night. And it was the topic of the podcasts were educational. Before everyone just thinks I just sat on my arse all this time watching YouTube. But it's something I'm looking into at the minute. So it's a lot of information on this stuff I'm trying to educate myself on right now. One was 3 hours, one was 2 hours, and I watched them back to back. And I'm there, and I am glued, and I'm taking notes.
Wow.
Content, the conversation in the podcast was really, really meaningful. Really, really useful. got into some quite difficult topics in a really easy to understand way, or easy to understand, a really accessible way. So I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And I was like properly tuned in, pausing it to Google words that they were using and stuff like that. And this is the thing, if the content's engaging, you'll watch it for as long as it lasts. I feel like Nicole's frozen on me. So I was like doing a full-on rant anyway. Either I've frozen or she's frozen. Oh, she's back. You back?
Yeah, I froze. I froze. I was like literally like, what is going on? And then my Wi-Fi was just doing the moving about, like jumping, and I was like, oh no. And then it said in the corner, you're offline. And I was like, quick hotspot. So I quickly stopped over and back.
Cool.
Anyway,
so I was just saying, it's like, so I watch 5 hours of content from one source because it's really engaging content. Now, with the TikTok thing, so if they're saying 50% of people on the app are watching clips that are at least a minute long, so okay, we need to think about that in our content strategy going forwards, what we're producing over there. However, going back to what Gary asked about, is each channel generational, and what I explained about people jumping from one platform to the next, quite often a social media platform starts and there's next to no algorithm. So it's almost like a free-for-all. You can, like, this is when you're going to get the best reach on that platform, because at this point there's no algorithm. They're trying to build daily users, so they're making it as frictionless as possible. That means no ads. And if it's a free app and there's no ads, they're not making money.
yeah.
Now, when you have short form video, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, it's very difficult to interrupt that video with an ad.
Yeah.
Because the user experience would just be crap. Like, people would just be like, no, I'm not going to use TikTok. It's too many ads. I can't watch anything. It's just ad. So by encouraging, so they're saying that 50% of users are watching clips a minute or longer, and that's going to direct people's content strategies. But if as users, content creators, we all suddenly go, okay, right, I'm going to make sure all my videos are 90 seconds long or 3 minutes long, TikTok now have more opportunity to serve ads within those videos, which also helps them keep some of the influencers, the very well-known content creators on the platform, because this is somewhere for them to earn money. So I've just got a little bit of, are people like, how true is it?
Yeah.
Where's the data coming from, and who does it serve?
At the moment, obviously, like, I have watched longer form videos on TikTok and I haven't seen an ad in there. So do you think that's their strategy? Do you think that's what they're planning on doing to earn more money?
Yeah. So there are content creators. Yeah, so there are people creating content on TikTok and earning money from it, because they'll put up a 5-minute video, and within that video, same as YouTube, right? You watched, when I was watching these podcasts last night on YouTube, I mean, maybe I saw 10 ads on each episode. The content creator is being paid because I've watched those ads.
Yeah.
So they've got to get this part of the commercial element of TikTok. They've got to get that bit working.
Yeah. I wonder how Elon's getting on with his, he was going to start uploading content up to 2 hours, wasn't he? I feel like we've not even mentioned X for ages.
Do you know, there's also, I've seen so many things, so many headlines, and I've just gone, yeah, I can't be bothered to read that.
Yeah, no, I was the same.
It sounds really bad. It's like, because it's the same old story. Elon's upsetting people again. Someone's trying to enforce some rules, and he's, giving them the middle finger. And
yeah, I saw that.
And people think, that his freedom of speech is freedom of hate speech, and you know, and it's just the same rhetoric over and over again. And there's so much news coming at us, we've got to pick what we look at.
It's true. Like the first thing that was on social media today was Elon said to someone or other, you know, go F yourself. And I was like, yeah, I can't be asked.
Yeah, exactly. Paul's just put that in the comments, yeah. You know, so there's a boycott as well on Twitter. But again, I remember, I want to say about 3 years ago, there was an advertising boycott on Meta.
Yeah.
So again, like for me, this is like, it's just not, it's there's certain things that happen over and over and over again in the digital world. Digital world. So it's like, oh, okay, another boycott. Like, we're giving 12 months, I'll be back there again. And to be honest, advertising on X is like not worth the money anyway. So crack on, you know. And then we're starting to see stuff come through about how social media platforms are preparing for elections next year and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, okay, what's actually going to move the needle for business owners right now? Let's look at that stuff. That's the stuff I want to read.
Yeah.
Going back to this TikTok thing. So in the stuff I was reading about this, 50% of people watching 1 minute or more, TikTok's also made a claim that I think it was content creators that are posting videos for longer than 1 minute have 5 times the growth rate of those posting the short videos.
Wow.
So it is, you know, like I said, it's something worth thinking about.
Yeah.
I do wonder how much of this push for people to create longer video is because that's how they can make money back. So I you know, that's a commercial. I see that as a commercial move. At the same time, shorter video that tells a story that speaks to essentially a younger demographic. I'd say up to the age of 30, 35 maybe. So yeah, content that speaks that way. In terms of low cost product, people are buying through TikTok or certainly in a buying mindset when they're on TikTok. So they're not necessarily making the purchase through the platform, but they're in that mindset. And if you're using that platform, you're creating content anyway. If you're already creating 30-second videos, if you've been doing that for a while, to push it to a video that is over a minute, that's not a big push.
No.
You know, to go from nothing to a 5-minute video is like, that's like, you know, I understand people being overwhelmed at that thought.
Yeah.
So I do think it is okay. What can we do? What can we build in? How are we telling our stories in our video? What conventions are we using when we edit our videos that we could kind of change up to get that video from being a few seconds to over a minute, and then measure it, commit and do it for, let's say, Q1. From the 1st of January to the 31st of March, you're going to implement that strategy. How quickly did you grow October to December versus January to March? And if it works and you are seeing 5 times the growth, keep at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thinking on that one. There is. Did you? So I don't know if we talked about this before. I think it's come up before that Instagram was thinking about making it possible for all reels to be. Can you hear my phone pinging, by the way? It's like, it's really annoying. So I put my phone on silent and it's still going.
Is it you got it on your web browser?
It's not my browser, no.
Oh.
But it might be because I'm the right. So the WhatsApp app on my desktop is properly playing up. I'm getting sick.
Yeah.
So I think there is an update to the desktop browser, but I can't seem to update it on my Mac. So I wonder, it might actually be that. But it is, it's showing as quit at the minute. So yeah, it's annoying.
So Instagram Reels.
Oh yeah. So they talked about they were looking at making it possible for all reels to be downloadable. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
we spoke about this quite a while ago, yeah.
Right, so it's now rolling out to everyone.
Okay.
Okay, so this started a few days ago.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening is, as the creator, you can toggle it off. So if I don't want people to download my reels, they won't be able to. But as a global setting, like you post a reel, I'll be able to save it.
Yeah.
Now, when it's saved, it will have an Instagram watermark and a watermark that directs people back to your Instagram account, which is great.
Brilliant.
So, the expectation is we'll see more reels in TikTok.
Yeah.
However, TikTok is looking for those watermarks and will downvote any of those posts in the algorithm over there.
They're always one step ahead, aren't they, TikTok?
So it's kind of, so I love the fact that I might be, so the podcast I was watching last night, Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson, like he's a brilliant interviewer, very curious minded, has an amazing memory as well. The stuff that comes up in the natural conversation he has with his guests, and you're like, oh my god, he's remembered that from an interview from like so long ago. And you kind of, and then I end up going back and finding the original interview where that line came from. Anyway, I might see one of his reels that's a clip from his podcast, save it because I think it's really useful, post it on my TikTok. So great for him in terms of that piece of content's now going further. However, for me, I'm not going to get as much reach on that as in compared with something I'd created originally myself.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, because I think people could get a little bit lazy. Well, I'll create this as Green Umbrella. We can all download it. We can all share it separately.
The thing is,
that would be quite an easy strategy, but it's not going to help maximise your community.
I'm assuming when it's your, no, actually, because I've downloaded a reel of mine before, because you've always been able to download your own content, but it still comes up with a watermark. Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's about finding the balance. Like, it's good to share and promote other people's content. And even on TikTok, there's obviously ways of doing that, like reposting and stuff. But I don't think it's very obvious when people repost. Like, you have to actually, it's on top. It's like where your liked is. It's like, I don't know if anyone else can actually view that, but I'm sure they can, because you're reposting it and it comes up when you click on the video that you've done that. But I don't think it's that obvious to me anyway. Like, but yeah, I think it's just about having that balance of like sharing somebody's content but still like sticking to making your own.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I said, it's the fact that what I don't like is, so for example, I think most people know I've got 2 daughters. So if I, let's say this was available when they were 14, they could create a reel that they're sharing publicly. Now I would love to say that they would have things locked down, only my followers can see it, blah blah blah. But let's face it, kids are kids, right? So I do have this thing where younger users, more naive, not even younger, naive users could post content that could then be downloaded and used against them. We think about sort of cyberbullying and all that sort of stuff. It is
I noticed on YouTube this, and it might be on the TV, I'm not sure, but they keep pushing this advert out, and it's only like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And as I said, that's just on YouTube. It might be a longer form version for TV, but they're really, and I think they should put it out on TV, because that's where most parents are going to see that content. They're not going to go on YouTube. I think there will be, but they're more likely to watch, like, so people that are watching I'm a Celeb, for example, like, I feel like the demographic of them watching I'm a Celeb is an older audience.
It's a wider, I don't think it's a older audience. I think it's a wider audience.
Yeah. So it's like, it's worth putting this Instagram ad out there, but it's all about like parental control of Instagram for their children, and like how you can go about it, and like, you know, just getting support in that area, because it just must be so alien for parents and children or teenagers going through that, and like having access to so much online. Like, it is actually quite scary, because even me, like, I remember when obviously I came up when all this was sort of coming about, but there was so much that you could do to not, you like, I feel like parents just didn't have to worry as much. Do you know what I mean? We were on Club Penguin, and like mum would be like, don't speak to strangers on Club Penguin, and all you could have was like a maximum of one word anyway. So it'd be like, where you live, and then you would just be like, England, bye. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's all you could say. You wouldn't exactly put your
I might have been on Club Penguin. I recognise that.
Club Penguin was amazing, like so amazing. And the thing is, she could have been, because it came back out in lockdown, but like it was a copyrighted version. Like someone had just nicked it off.
No, it was when Emma was younger. So there were these social
Emma,
club. Was it
Disney?
Moshi Monsters or something? Was that another one? That might have been better.
No.
It was like a cross between a computer game and a social media app for kids.
Yeah. It was honestly like amazing, and like you'd make friends on there, and like have little like igloo parties where you'd send an invitation out, or like you'd be like, let's go to the coffee shop and have a coffee, and you'd just sit, and all you could do was send, like, I think the first, before they even introduced text, all you could do was send an emoji. So there was like a love heart, but then you knew the sort of, in the nicest way possible, the kind of stranger people on the app, because they would just come up to you and just like send, like, love bomb you almost with like love hearts, and then you'd think, yeah, and then you would just notice friend request. But then they were always the people, when it did start getting, the text started getting introduced, they would then be like, where do you live? And like, yeah, like, but then I remember my mum sitting down with me and like my stepbrother and my sister being like, we're gonna give you the membership because you want it, but you have to be careful about strangers. And they taught us this whole thing about talking to people online. But now it's like a whole new world. Like there's just that was such limited access to something. Whereas like now it's just crazy. So I feel like they need to share this advert out more to, yeah.
I was thinking of, something had happened yesterday that brought a few old memories to the forefront. And it was the memories it was bringing up were, like, I remember like having my first mobile phone that I could send SMS in. So like we're talking back to sort of, sort of 1999, 2000 kind of thing. There are just a few memories popping up from sort of there and to sort of 2002, 2003. And I just thought, God, you know, how different is life now when with, you know, a computer then was like this big backed thing. It was, you know, not the sleek,
Yeah.
For example, on my desk, you know, the computer that sits in the palm of your hand, essentially. Yeah. And, you know, or you know, the social media, the connectivity that we have, the photos, the video, like all this stuff. And I think back to then, and the thought I was having was, did I feel more connected then, or do I feel more connected now?
Such a good question.
And it's I spent a bit of time reflecting on it, and I'm not sure what the answer is. But it's like we have all these tools at our disposal that allow us to connect with someone, but how connected are we?
And I think that the access to so much these days, and stuff that we've kind of touched on within this live lunch, is focusing on what you said, 2.8 platforms, rounding up to 3. That's the maximum capacity someone could probably take. It's overwhelming. Like, I actually do get quite overwhelmed with, you know, I'm talking to people on Instagram, like Facebook, iMessage, WhatsApp. It's just like, whoa, where do you even start? Whereas, like, you know, like, back in the day, it's like you would you know, I don't know, when we talked about I'm a Celeb or like X Factor, you wouldn't be able to just like hit your friend up. You would have to wait until like Monday morning and be like, oh my God, did you watch the X Factor final last night? Like, and then you just have this whole chat in school, and like it'd be a lot more. Whereas now you can just hit somebody up and be like, oh, did you watch it? And there's actually a likely chance they won't even reply. They're overwhelmed as well.
This is the thing, you know, trying to organise social plans for next weekend. And I was chatting to, I put something on my story last night, and the friend I'm all trying to get together with, she replied in Instagram DMs, and we started talking, and all of a sudden we're talking in WhatsApp. And then there was not like, shall we switch to WhatsApp? It was like, all of a sudden the message came through from WhatsApp, and I'd like replying, and I'm like, when did we go to WhatsApp?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool, but this is the world we're living in. We're slipping in and out and in and out. But again, you know, we talked, WhatsApp was the platform where people felt most connected.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's kind of engaged, like, you know, that she's seen me on Instagram. It's prompts that, oh, I need to sort out with Christina. She sent the message. Now we're talking. She's immediately brought it to WhatsApp, because that's where we feel the connection. So I do think we should all perhaps take stock and say, right, let's have a look. What does our, trying to think of the right word here, what's within our environment? You know, is it Facebook and Instagram and Messenger, or is it Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and WhatsApp? And, you know, what's in our, what is the ecology of our digital world? And does it all need to be there? Should we kind of streamline things a little bit? Or do we need to have rules around it?
Yeah.
You know, I don't really use Facebook Messenger anymore. I only use Facebook Messenger to talk to my mother, because she doesn't, like, that's where she lives, Facebook Messenger. She doesn't live anywhere else.
Easy for you to get on board there.
Yeah, so it's like, I'll send her a message through that, because I'll get a quicker response there than I will through a phone call, SMS, right? But I don't talk to anyone else there, because any other conversations that happen there, there's one, possibly two people, but every other conversation there is someone trying to pitch me. So I just don't even, unless it's like, if I see the notification and it's a specific name, then I'll go and look for that. I'll go and look for that message from that person, but I just ignore the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because it's not meaningful conversations. It's not useful conversations. So yeah, I do think we need to, and I need to think what the right word is for this. It's like what's the word? But I'll come up with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm conscious of time. There's another couple of things I wanted to talk about. Have you got anything else?
I did have a quick one just about Pinterest, but
Go on, go for it.
It was really quite quick. It was just Pinterest launches live test of new body type search filters, which I think, yeah, that's a positive note within the social media world, because I feel like we even spoke about this ages ago, but you know that new app that came out, what was it, something lemon, do you remember we spoke about yeah, and that is very much like, it's an Instagram / Pinterest from what because I've seen a lot of people, not so much recently, but like on TikTok posting about it.
Right, hold on. I've got to, right, because this is also someone that knows. Hello, lovely. We're on live lunch, and all your messages have been pinging all the way through. So I will come back to you, I promise. But we're on live lunch.
I don't know. It's what? Has that been the same person messaging about the whole thing?
Yeah.
There you go again. What she said. She's obviously replied.
She's just read the voice notes. Okay, so Pinterest. We don't talk about Pinterest much because it's not a core platform that we really use for clients, right? It doesn't really fit our demographic. However, Pinterest has been doing a lot over the last, I'd say, last 6 months.
Yeah.
It's it's very much going the e-commerce route, and like, how can we promote e-commerce? And it's not so much about it's not so much about how Pinterest can make money. It's Pinterest changing things so that people that use their platform can make money with less friction. And because that's how it's going to keep its audience. So yeah, and I really like this. I really like this idea of the body type search, as long as you know what your body type is.
That's the thing though. I feel like that's it. Like everybody is so different, and like I think that's what's going to be. It's made me interested to look into Pinterest more, let's put it that way, because I think I was saying about how this lemon app is very much, I can't remember the name of it, like apologies, but something lemon or lemon something.
Lemonade or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's like
Kim would know. Kim will know.
There's influencers on or content creators on TikTok that have raved about it, which made me intrigued to check it out. And I remember liking them and saving them at the time. But that was very much about body positivity. And say if you had an outfit, but you didn't know what to put it with, and like you didn't know what to wear it with, then they recommend like sort of outfit ideas if you're not as confident or comfortable like in that area. And I just thought that's so nice. Like so I would take a picture of this grey jumper and think, what could I wear this with? Post it on there, and then they would give loads of recommendations, like in terms of what would be the best look for you and the best colours for your shade, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I thought that was really positive. And then obviously now Pinterest have jumped on it a little bit with the whole body positivity. And again, we're all so different, and like things will match. We've got a nice little a message.
Yeah. I'll go and finish what you're saying, and I'll.
Just Pinterest is like an amazing. I feel like that's just such a positive message because everybody is so different. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, and it's like I think it's about celebrating the kind of body you have instead of thinking, oh, I need to look like this and comparing yourself, which is what a lot of social media does. So having that aspect within Pinterest has definitely made me intrigued to download it, go on there and check that feature out.
Cool.
Anyway.
Cool. Okay, so we had a question from Jojo over on Facebook. So in our opinion, with the information we've shared in reference to young people up to the age of 30 and cyberbullying, parent safeguarding, which platform do we feel forms a connection with both? So what I'm understanding from that question is like Jojo's probably wanting to speak to all of that demographic. So what's the best platform for her to do that on? My opinion right now would be Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. I agree. Like I feel, them two are the two to be wary of. Because Facebook, it's just, that's the platform that you said, let's be honest, everyone jumped from.
Yeah. So I feel like Facebook, you've got the people in that parental, the guide, if you like, the person with that parental responsibility. They will be on Facebook and they're probably using it a fair amount. That younger demographic, they are on there, but their usage is more sporadic. Instagram, they're going to be there more often than not. I think that Instagram will be one of their core platforms. And we're now in a situation where people in that demographic age of being the parent guardian are on Instagram as well, using it for their own purposes as well as to keep an eye on the kiddos kind of thing. So I think Instagram for that reason. I also think TikTok for that reason.
Yeah.
12 months ago, I probably would have only have said Instagram, but I think Instagram and TikTok now, that's where we're really able to reach both. There's more of a shared audience there. Snapchat is Facebook, but the opposite. Snapchat, you've got that younger demographic on there almost constantly with the parent guardians dipping in and out. It's like they're getting like, I always think Snapchat is like being the cool mum who's allowed to go to the party. Like you're there for the party and you interact a little bit and then you go back to your normal life. So yeah, so Facebook, you'll get more parent guardian. Snapchat, you'll get more of the kiddos. Instagram, TikTok, in my opinion, is where you can access both of them. So I hope that helps, Jojo.
Completely agree.
Okay, very quickly, two
Yeah.
things, and I'm just going to give you the headlines. So over on LinkedIn, over the last couple of weeks, I've been hearing stories where people have had like dramatic drops in reach on their posts. And then I've also seen something come out saying LinkedIn have this system. Posts are created. There's some machine learning that basically flags certain posts for, they're going like they're violating their rules. Those posts are then reviewed and they're either like, you violated the rules, we're not sharing it, or it's kind of a violation, so we'll downvote it in the feed, or actually this is okay, carry on. What they've done is they brought some AI into that process, so there's less human contact in the process. So my feeling is if you've seen a sudden drop in your reach on LinkedIn, just have a review of those posts and just think from an AI perspective, is there anything in the language? Are there any specific words you've used that may have been picked up by the machine learning or by AI that would put it in this box of potentially violating rules? Because it is like a lot of the stuff that comes through is actually okay, but it's the machine learning, the AI that have picked it up and are filtering it. So there's that on that. I was going to talk about it more, but just that as a start, we can always pick that up next week.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
other thing that I loved, and I think we should definitely talk about next week. Have you heard people talking about Q5, quarter 5?
No.
Okay, so obviously there's 4 quarters in a year.
Mm.
Okay, so the idea is there's this kind of like dead period that is like between Christmas and the second week of January. And we're starting to hear people talk about that as being quarter 5.
Mm.
And Meta I think it was Meta, had put out some info, almost like a guide for how to approach marketing in Q5. So there's a few things that are in there that, it is Meta. There's a few things in there that are quite interesting. 2 things in particular I liked. One is there's a section in there around paid advertising. And basically, there's some stats about the results you get on paid advertising in quarter 5, like really drop. So think about how you run your ads. And one of the things it suggests is reducing the time slots, essentially, of when your ad runs. So rather than have your ad run 24/7, maybe you're only going to have it run from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 9 o'clock at night, or from 5 in the morning till 9 in the morning. So keep your budget the same, but reduce the period of time it's going to be live for, which I do quite, in the campaigns that we run, dependent on the audience, I've always used that feature quite a lot. But yeah, interesting that they don't often talk about that in their guides. So interesting that they put that into their guide for the Q5 stuff.
Maybe Christina.
Sorry, say again.
Maybe you should jump on that. Write a blog. Be one of the first.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't talk about blog writing right now. The other thing is it was about the creative that we use and the messaging within it. So we've just had Christmas Day. People have opened up their presents, right? And there's a few gift vouchers floating around, right? So actually ads that are showing the and I think they've referred to it as self-gifting. So actually ads showing actually you could buy this gift for yourself using your vouchers. So again, think about where people's heads are in this period. Because so many businesses, especially e-commerce side of things, or people that are running sort of experiential things, they get to that point before Christmas where you can't get it in the post, it won't arrive on time, and they just sort of stop until the new year. Yeah. Whereas actually, if you started running ads at that point, like you're going to be getting gift vouchers. This is what you can do. This is what you could spend your, you could, a gift for yourself. I really like that idea. The other thing is about tying things into New Year's resolutions and using that in your creative. And sales and discounts is an obvious one, but the other one that I liked is gratitude.
Yeah.
So how can you run ads with a with showing gratitude, giving back to community, that sort of stuff. So I thought there were some quite interesting things there. So those were the other two, but there's loads of other stuff. It's like 6, 7, 8 pages in the report. There's some interesting stuff in there, so we'll talk about that next time. Anyway, we will wrap it up there. That's a good one, considering we thought we were going to keep it short.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been good. Had fun.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot.
Kim, we've missed you, but we've had fun without you as well. Sorry. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back next Thursday, 12 noon on my LinkedIn, the Green Umbrella Facebook page, Green Umbrella YouTube channel, and all sorts of different places. But we'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye.